Hello, this is my presentation for Unit 8 of the UAL Diploma Level 3 for Creative Media Production and Technology. So I'm now going to go through to my website first. This is the home page. I put some photos here of previous work so people who view my website can get a good idea of some of the work I've done already. I then put a descriptive paragraph just over here, as you can see. And here you can find out information about me, my previous work as well, and you can also know how to find links to other pages in the website. On the About Me page, I've included personal details about myself to create a relationship between myself and the person viewing the website, and I can get a better understanding of who I am from this. So to start off, I've put up here, as you can see, my name and where I'm from, what course I'm doing, my aspirations. Here I decided to go into detail about my passion for film and the work I have done. And here I've just gone into my hobbies, so people can get a general understanding of who I am. I then decided to put some photos of myself, as you can see up here. One here of us training with mics, and of my biggest inspirations in the film industry. This includes my favourite film directors, screenwriters, actors, films. So we've got the likes of Snatch, The Empire Strikes Back, as you can see this one maybe relates to. Alfred Hitchcock, Pulp Fiction, Tarantino, Kevin Spacey, American Beauty, and Jimmy Stewart and Rear Window. To the next page. So I've put the menu bar just up here so people can navigate their way around the website. And I've used this font here as a layout for my website. I think it's a creative font, and it's also a aesthetically pleasing one to look at. I didn't want to go for anything too basic and too be standard if you look at it like that. I think this way people will think this is more than just the everyday usual page they see, and it will persuade them to stay on the page, to continue to read on, watch my films, and this will help me further my career. Onto the FMP page. This is a very important page. Now on the website I've put a lot of details about my final major project, when I started pre-production, when I started production, and when I finished production. I've said what time of year it was filmed. I have given a brief plot line to the story. I also told them that I've kept what documents I've put at the bottom of the page. And just down here, you can see they have the evaluation, the research, and reflective journal documents. I've put 4 links to these here, so you can open them up and view them as you please. So I've got them all open down here, but I'll just open one up just to show you anyway, with the reflective journal. Internet speed being better always does help. So we're going to click to retrieve the file, just here. I'm on the college computer at the moment. And this is my reflective journal. So with the reflective journal, I've started off by talking about what I first did in order. So this started with the Easter holidays. So I spoke about my initial ideas for what I want to do, and how I progress in taking these forward. I've detailed out plans for how I think I'm going to achieve my aims of making a great film, including making great shots, showing the relationship between the two and the impact of the location on both of the characters. Here I think you can see an understanding where the film's going from the first paragraph, and it gives you a nice introduction to the rest of the journal. Here I've gone into detail about the resources I have bought. So initially, towards the start of the project, I was very much struggling with writing my screenplay. I had no idea how to define the relationship between the two characters, how to show the two opposing ends, with them both being inside the same person. So it was very challenging to do so. However, I do have very big aspirations to go into screenwriting, maybe more than anything else in the film industry, probably alongside directing though. So I bought a book by someone who's hailed as a screenwriting guru, which is the late Sid Field. His book, The Definitive Guide to Writing a Screenplay, was so eye-opening. I've read just under 100 pages at the time of writing this journal. I've actually now finished the book, and I just want to say it's a fantastic book. It gave me great insight into how to define the relationship between the two, how to establish plot points, which is this groundbreaking discovery. It shows me how, as a director, I want to connect the themes of the piece onto the screen. and how to make sure I can communicate meaning between shots as well. This is a really beneficial book, and I'd recommend it because it helped me so much with mine. And I've put this in here so everyone else who reads it from the website can understand how I came to progress in my project. Next here, I've also gone into detail about the screenplay. So with the screenplay, I've talked about how we had lessons every Monday morning with Gary. Gary Carson would teach us about screenplays, how to format scripts, etc. So at this time I was struggling with the script. I was progressing a fair little bit with the book starting to take its toll. But we watched Chinatown. We also read the script, which I'd already read, by Robert Town, who's a very famous screenwriter. The film's about Jack Nicholson's character, Jake Gitters, who meets a strange lady who isn't all she seems. She's pretending to be the wife of a very famous water counsellor, and it's Gitters' job to find out what the setup is and why. I went through this and I saw some fantastic things in the screenplay from Robert Town that I had noticed before. So, for example, in the first scene, we know who the character of Gitters is, we know his background, we know what his hopes are, and we know what his opinions are, all in the first scene when someone comes to help for him in his office. We know that he's a sleazy man who's now made money for himself, doing dirty jobs. We know he's a man who doesn't have shame. We know he's a man who has a lot more money than he used to. That's why he now has a lot better drinks, along with worse drinks for other people to drink. He wants to save them for himself, and the clothes he has, very expensive clothes as well. Here, I've gone into where my auditions took place. Now, there's a little bit about this on the website as well, but I'll go through the bit on the journal with you first. So, back in end of March, I held auditions for the role of Tu and Tom in my film. I knew that I really wanted someone who was good enough to do the part, who had good accessibility to get there and fit the role completely. I didn't want anyone who I knew was going to cause some problems with other people on set, or maybe with time management, but I had to meet these people to find out. I was finding it really difficult at first with the idea of casting people. I didn't want to be the one to tell people, I don't think you're good enough to be in my film. I didn't want to come off like that to anyone. So this was a really difficult experience for me. I just didn't want to upset anyone, to be honest. I mean, someone came from Watford, who I knew that has done films before, and I didn't cast him in the film. I felt very bad about this, but then I realised, it's a cutthroat industry. I have to do this, and I thought, I better book these auditions. So I had an actor from a previous film of mine, Blind Faith, Harry Toss, star in the film. I had him hold a private audition before these ones. I'd already seen the calibre he brought to the roles. I told him what the role was, and he was given the role of Tom, the lead role, due to his audition. I then needed an opposing actor who I knew was good enough, had the experience and the confidence as well. So I chose Joe Devenish, who came to the auditions at the King's Head pub in Winchmore Hill. He's 20 years old, from Highbury in North London. I felt he was good enough for the role too, because he allowed the mystery of the character to be portrayed, but also with some sense of sinisterism coming out towards the end. The way he executed the sarcastic jokes, the brutal sentences, and the range of emotions, varying from trying to cover up his act, trying to scare Tom, trying to fight Tom as well. So I think this was a very good performance by Joe, and I don't think I would have, I know I wouldn't have had Joe if I didn't have the auditions take place. Joe studies at Reading University, acting, and I got in contact with him through Facebook. I'm part of a group on Facebook called Filmmaking Talent Group, and it's part of England, South England, and it includes Reading, Watford, London, Brighton as well was in there. So there's a lot of places as well. I think we've got Kent maybe, yeah? Yeah, we have Kent. So on the website I contacted Joe after posting, an advert for my film. So I said a brief plot of what the film was, the kind of character the 2 was, and when the dates would be for filming, auditions, details, and Joe got in contact with me by telephone the same night. I think my management skills are really good here because I managed to overcome my original fear of being wary of upsetting people. I told people straight and simply how it was. No one was left in no one was left in the dark as to whether I had cast them or not cast them. I told people what I liked about them, so I did try and send some people away with some feelings of happiness about the audition, even if I didn't cast them. The King's Head pub in Winchmore Hill was really beneficial, and it only cost £10. I'd been to the pub a few times. That wasn't for filming, that was as a customer, however. And I went in one night, this is about 2 weeks before the audition took place, and I've been looking for auditions, and I didn't really find too many places. And I asked the barman in the Winchmore Hill King's Head pub, and he said that he'd asked the manager. I was told that I could only have it for a maximum of 2 hours, and it'd have to be a £10 fee. I thought this was a great price because I knew that my house personally wasn't available due to building works going on. The other places would be a lot more. For example, I contacted the Dugdale Centre and Enfield Town, and they told me it would be £30 for just about the same time, which is a third of the price. So I had to take the opportunity with both hands. The location was great. It was very spacious, very good accessibility. There's a few buses that go there. We had a few people come from different directions, so it was a very helpful place. I definitely consider holding my auditions there in the future again. Moving on, I then headed to the location at Trent Park in Oakwood, Enfield. There's 2 entrances from both sides, one in Cockfosters, one in Oakwood, which is the one we filmed at, coming from Oakwood. I'd previously discovered a location in Trent Park when passing through one day, and I thought it would work great for a confrontation between 2 characters on the screen. Unfortunately, when I contacted the council, I was told that I couldn't. I was told over here that I couldn't film due to TFL guidelines and due to also dog walkers and it being close to the road and the access point in the park. So I went back to the location and I found an even better one. This is a field where it reflects Tom's mood of looking into the distance for a new hope and a new future, and it also allows a closeness and confrontation in the forest scene in the resolution of the film between Tom and Sue. I thought the location was much better than the first one. I tried a few parts before that, including Oakwood Park and Boxers Lake as well. None of the locations there were good enough. I was very surprised to find a really good location because the first one I thought was going to be the perfect one, but this showed me that I was willing to persevere, willing to put time and effort into finding the right place, and I did find the right place, and I found one even better than what I originally had. So this has given me good confidence for the future. I also contacted the council again just to make sure it was okay, and they told me it was okay. They told me what mission and safety techniques I was planning to use. I told them, so I thought I showed really good management skills here. There were some problems with equipment on the day of the shooting, however. There was a large amounts of wind and rain in between, and this meant we had to wrap up for the first day. I've gone into detail to talk about this just up here, so everyone can see what problems I may have faced in trying to get the success of the film. Other equipment problems we had was that the SD cards I brought with me on the day, I actually brought quite a few with me on the day, and after we used one, I found out that there was no space on another one to fit the rest of the film in, and we were only about just starting the confrontation part of the film, so we weren't really too much even halfway into the film. So I didn't want to upset anyone because we've been working for a while. Some people travelled a very long way, from outside London. So I offered everyone snacks that I brought with me to the shoot, and I went to the Sprint shop at Oakwood. I'll show you this shop on the internet now. So this is the shop here. Sprint Oakwood. Very good shop. Prices are a bit high, but what you need. Can't find the images for it, but this is one here. Yes, it's a Sprint printers at Oakwood. It's a stationery shop. So I had to go into there and just minimise that. Buy a new SD card. Unfortunately, there's only 25 gigabyte and 32 gigabyte. So I had to buy this one, which is more than £10, which really upset me because I didn't want to spend too much more of my budget of what I was originally spending on. But it allowed me to get the footage I needed. And it gave me management skills of keeping people happy and busy and not letting the work suffer due to a minor fault. It was a time and effort cost, but to record my footage, I think it was very worthwhile, and this is just a problem that occurred. In future, I'm going to fix this by bringing more with me in the future. Moving on here, I've talked about how some of the production of my film. I've talked about how it was cancelled due to the rainfall when we were filming, and I have updated my progression with the management skills here. I've said that the weather was a big factor in stopping production for the day, and I should have done this by checking the weather in the morning. I didn't. I've gone to explain here how I checked it the week before, up to the night before even, but I didn't check it in the morning, and if I had, I might have seen that it wouldn't be possible to film that day. Just here, I've gone into my audience feedback, which has allowed me to see that I was successful in raising awareness for clinical and psychosis depression, that people would recommend it to others, over 80% in fact, and this told me that I've given something back to people suffering from clinical psychosis depression. I've raised awareness for them, I've made an entertaining film, and that people have recommended it to other people. This is great for me because it means I've achieved what my initial ideas and targets were, and that I've also raised a film which is entertaining and will raise more awareness for my career as a filmmaker. So that's a reflective journal. Just going to show you a photo of the King's Head pub as well. So this is the King's Head pub here, just down here, and this is the Trent Park entrance. These are the documents here. You can all read my evaluation, my research, my reflective journal. I'll just open up the primary research. If you know, I won't. I've got it already open down here. So primary research evidence. This is my original survey, which I carried out on demographics of my film. I wanted to find out who would be watching my film, to be perfectly honest with you. So I went into a few surveys. So this one was about age, male, female, ethnicity. I wanted to find out what my target audience were. I found that they were 19 to 27, as I've stated here. And they were normally just men. Moving on. So now we have my second survey, which is about clinical and psychosis depression. I wanted to find out what other people knew already about the illness and what they were going through, people suffering from it. So I asked people, for example, questions such as, did you get clinical depression can often lead to psychosis depression, which I've put here as an arrow. I then put my reaction to this finding. So I said that I was surprised by the result, but then I knew that a lot of people didn't know this at the same time. It's just an eye-opener to how many people, in fact, didn't know this can lead on to something else, even more severe. I can incorporate these research findings to raising awareness in my film. But I put it here just to show everyone how I carried out my research for pre-production. I also asked which films people were seeing related to mental health. I did this to find out a sort of formatting of the audience's memory of what mental health films would be like. So this included Shutter Island by Scorsese, included the European film The Machinist, starring Christian Bale. That was directed by Brad Anderson. Brad Anderson. Shutter Island by Scorsese as well. Silver Linings Playbook with Jennifer Lawrence and Bradley Cooper. I just wanted to know what everyone else was expecting, so I didn't want to do too much of the same thing. I wanted to have my own standalone film, but also incorporate ideas from other films. For example, in Shutter Island, the whole film's actually set in the mind for Teddy Daniels. It's all set up for him. So I wanted to incorporate some things into my film the same way, but not everything. And this allowed me to know what people had seen, which is by far Silver Linings Playbook, and allowed me to know what people were expecting. I also asked which following symptoms of the illness people were aware of, and I put this in my research just to show that I now know. Well, I became aware of what people did and didn't know in advance, and this allowed me to incorporate into my film to get better results for an accurate description of symptoms. I then carried out an interview. This was the last week of March, and it was with 6 people from ages 60 years old to 13. It was myself, my mother Siobhan, my friends Jay and Elias, my grandma Deborah, and that was it there. So with the interview, I asked people what their experiences were. I wanted to get more an in-depth view into what the illness was and how the people suffered from it. So, for example, Jay said he was a sufferer at 24, 25 years old, which is a couple of years ago. He then went through to what it was like, saying that how he didn't play in the football team anymore, he didn't have any friends, he didn't have something to do outside, he was staying inside all the time, and how he overcame it and how he's still suffering from it. I then asked people how they think films often accurately portray these, which you can see just down here, below particular references to Jay here. Yeah, and I find out that a lot of people don't think that the films are accurate as a representation of films. So, for example, Deborah said down here that she didn't think Jay was being accurately represented. And I asked people down here what they think the attitude of those living in the UK towards mental health illnesses are like. This was eye-opening because I found out that the lives thought it was improving, but not too great. As a society on the whole, this then told me that people don't think that they're doing enough and more awareness needs to be raised. This then gave me the confidence to make this film. This is one of the big factors in why I actually made this film. Interview with my friends and family and also a couple of other people, including Francis up here. The most beneficial part of this, and this is definitely the most beneficial part of the primary research, I think, was Jay, as I was being able to figure out firsthand what it was like. So some people had episodes, not everyone did that all the time. I was able to figure out what symptoms he had, how it affected his everyday life, and this allowed me to think of ideas for my character, Tom, and how it would affect his everyday life in the same way or other ways. And this really helped characterization as well as researching the topic of clinical psychosis depression. For the last of my primary research, I looked up film festivals and I did recce and location research. So here I looked up many film festivals, including BFI and London Shorts Festivals. I looked up previous videos, such as Tamara, which is a winner, in January 2016 by Sophia Safanova. I was actually at the event in London, and it was very eye-opening. I saw some fantastic films, which really inspired me. And I looked up these festivals to know where I can enter my film into, if it fits certain criteria, and if I can progress my career as a filmmaker in these festivals, which is really helpful to me. And the regular location research are just here. So you can see I've labelled and annotated all my pictures. I've just outlined the date and location of them. I've outlined why I've chosen those locations. For example here, where I think the confrontation would occur between the two, and how the user space would implement the relationship of dominant to submissive. This is where I'm talking about where Tom will be sitting for most of the film. This is the last shot of the film, and this is the opening shot of the film as well, following the opening credits. I've done this to show people how I've been planning the film, and to show how films aren't just they don't just come around once in a while. You have to put a lot of planning into them, figure out what your shots are, and take recce, location research. And I've done this to show just how hard it can be, but that it is possible to people, to anyone who comes onto my website. I then the website. I also have my evaluation and my secondary research to go through. So my secondary research. So I watched two films, in particular with The Machinist and Shutter Island. I watched these both twice back to back, and I wanted to figure out, like I said before, what the original format was. And I think the screenplay from The Machinist gave me very well, because it made me aware I need to place a lot of difficulties and obstacles in the life of Tom. But another thing which is great about The Machinist, I think it's a very underrated film of that, is that the antagonist Ivan, who is imagined by the character of Christian Bale's character throughout the whole film of Trevor, he's full of wit and charisma despite being an antagonist, and I think this is a great thing. For example, like Heath Ledger as the Joker. I think it's very important to have character development and a complex character. It makes them a lot more interesting, and it gave me the inspiration for my character of 2 to be the same in Refinement, so it's very beneficial to me, this research. It inspired my piece. This is when I've then gone on to talk about how I struggle with my script and equipping audio equipment. This includes The technical terms is a Tascam full audio recorder, a Rode microphone, and a tripod. I did try and book it at my college, which I've stated here, and the problems that I had and how I resolved them. These problems are overcome by hiring equipment off the internet. Rode mic, I thought it was a fair price, of £15. It's a lot cheaper than other places in Enfield and London had. There were difficulties getting it, and the quality was great, as it allowed me to pick up great audio and also natural sound, which I've mentioned just down here. And this is where I wanted to watch videos on the internet to try and figure out personal accounts of what people were suffering, going through. Click on psychosis depression, so I looked up a mental health guru here who talks about what it is, what the symptoms are, how you get it, what ages are usually treated on. The most, for example, I learned that the most common age is actually 13 to have it treated on for you, and a lot of people don't know very well that they have it as well, which is just scary. This gave me an insight into the important information I needed to know about the actual illness. I didn't want to have information that wasn't correct or accurate to portray a false view. I wanted to have a detailed understanding so I could educate the audience as well as entertain them. And this one really helped me. The last video that I watched was a personal account of a sufferer. This is a young lady called Susan, and I put the evidence of me watching the video here if you also want to find it. She talked about how symptoms affected her, how it made change her life, and this gave me a really good insight into how the people actually suffer, and what triggers them, and how they think that people in society view them. So this really helped the progression of the characterisation of Tom by this research. Let's go to my evaluation. So my evaluation is definitely, I think, my strongest point here. Here I've outlined my introduction and targets, background of the film, my initial ideas, my target audience being 18 to 25 when I made the film, and what I wanted to get out of the film from a personal level. I then went into my pre-production. I spoke about how I struggled with the script. I spoke about how I struggled with auditions and finding the right actors. I then went into my setbacks with the council, booking locations and location agreements. I then went into progression about how I was going to change my location. I've then annotated the photos here, and I've also put photos next to them just to make sure that everyone can understand what I'm talking about. So moving on to the production part of the document, I spoke about my achievements in cinematography. I made a shot list in the weeks prior. This is going back to the pre-production again. My success in capturing these aims and the angles and shots that I captured, how they improved my film. I then want to talk about the technology just here, which had some hindrances, and then I've mentioned that I'm going to go and speak more about this in the post-production stage, just down here. I've spoken about the problems on the day that we faced in management skills I had to combat. This included people turning up late to the set, taking people out to lunch to keep them motivated and happy, and I think I really showed my management skills in this document. I then went into detail in my explanation as to why I haven't used lighting, why I think not using the lighting was beneficial, and how the natural lighting on the day was actually one of the biggest hindrances to the film. Just to talk about what went well, what did go well, and how I'm going to fix this as well. In the last part of the evaluation, I've got into post-production and audience feedback. This part is I researched a video on the internet. This is called Black of All Text by Given McLeod. It's a song which is a very slow building, builds very slowly. This reflects the mood of Tom, whose anger and frustration is slowly building to the point he wants to release his frustration. I put a screenshot just of it here so you can actually find the video on the internet if you want. I've just said here, the part of the climax is when the song comes to life, just so to speak, Tom. That's actually the very closing shot of the film when you hear the beat come to fruition. The song was fantastic. It showed the mental state of the character. It was free to use as well, and it took a lot of research to find the right one. But again, showed the perseverance that I had, and looking in the right places for the right resources showed that I could find what I needed to make a good film. Then talked about post-production, some of the biggest difficulties I had. I think the biggest difficulty was colour correction and the black magic on the day. We filmed in the morning, just after dawn, and it was way too bright upon reflection. So I had to do a lot of tutorials and just get this review so I can see my tutorial. Screenshot of the tutorial. So this is a tutorial I went onto here. Yeah, this is by the YouTube video loader, lynda.com. They showed me how to use RGB, parade, lumen waves to adjust the colour, saturation, and exposure. So in this video I saw her correct the colour of this man's interview. Close it down for you. And here I've been doing the same with the RGB parade, showing how I've changed it, showing showing just the saturation on here as well, and how it's affecting the image. And the audience feedback, I talked about the questions I asked from my survey on SurveyMonkey, including did you enjoy the film, do you think it raised awareness, and I've spoken about previously from my journal, I put this in as well. I thought it was important to reflect on its success and the audience feedback, as well as how crucial my evaluation was for audience feedback. So I put them both in here, so I can jump to them both twice. And here I just concluded how I think the success of my film went. I have evaluated the worst parts and the best parts. So that's the biggest hindrance, be the colour correction, like I previously said. And the biggest successes were here. So raising awareness of psychosis, depression, and also an entertaining, accurate, and uplifting screenplay. I've said how I've learned and how I'm going to fix this in the future as well. So people can see where I went wrong, where they can pick up their skills from, so can I in future when I look back. I'll save that one. Cool. These are some pictures I've put up of the shots I've got on the day. This is the video of the film, so if I click it here, I'll start there with my logo in the film. I put opening credits here, and closing credits here also at the end. My last shot just there. I then put two photos of my two actors, Joe Devonish, who gave me the auditions, and Henry Toft had the private audition, and that I previously worked with very well. Here I put the audio track, Black Vortex by Kevin MacLeod, which are just playing there. So if I wanted to listen to that, or someone wanted to listen to it and get an idea of what it was without watching the film straight away, then they could do so by clicking that button just there. I've also put my logo at the foot of the page. I think this is more professional for the website. Onto the portfolio page, I've put my previous work on here. So this included my work for Blind Faith in 2015. I've spoken about what kind of film it was, so the genre of film, the plot of the film, the characters as well. I've then gone to talk about my own YouTube channel, Dancing Man Productions, my production company, and how you can reach it. So there's a little link just here, so if we press this, and there's the YouTube channel there, as you can see. So founder and home of Dancing Man Productions, and my name there. And then my videos are just here to view, if you want to see them on YouTube as well, or leave comments. So it's my logo here, which I think is professional, and clearly I think looks not innovative, but inventive in a way, and original in the fact that it's pointing to the YouTube link, which I think is quite aesthetically pleasing. So they're going to talk about Refinement, which is in all my films, my portfolio, talking about what it was and how I filmed it, and how I made it, so I directed it, edited it, producing it, supervising audio, etc. I then spoke about my last piece of work I did as well, which is a music video with an up-and-coming London musician Aquis, which I directed, edited, and was the director of photography before. Put another link for it here, so if we click this, we change the quality as well, volume here as well, and also the blind faith, see it works. Yep, there, volume changes as well, quality, YouTube link there as well, and a full screen link. So there it is there. And then in Refinement as well. So you can watch them all here if you like. It'll probably take you just over 2 minutes to do so. And there's a quick ad. the good accessibility to each other. Furthermore, let me go on to my last page. This is the contact page. On the contact page, I have decided to put my contact details of my telephone, my email, and my YouTube channel. So these are all the 3 different ways I'm reachable to anyone who comes onto my website. I have done a contact form here if they don't have any of these sources available to themselves. So if I put in John Smith 1 at Yahoo. We'll put in there, and we'll put in the last one here. So here you can see I put in a message and my name and my email address, being able to contact the person who'll be contacting me, so I know that John Smith's email is this, what his name is. I'll put, can you contact me for filming a documentary? So someone sends that off. A message has been received there. So I now have that message and can respond to that person if I want to. I put a footer of green just down here because I think it brings a bit more adventure and interest to the screen. I think it's aesthetically pleasing as well. I've used this contact form again here, you see, with the title text. And this is my website I've finished. And the last part I'm going to show you is just my film over here. And this is it in liquid time. So I uploaded this currently through email to myself, put it on Facebook, YouTube as well. QuickTime's a very good media outlet to play things on. It doesn't work too great on Windows compared to Apple, but nonetheless. So here you can see my film. So a brief summary through for you. Make sure it's all working, no problems. Yep. Yeah. Yes, how it works there. And my credits are working there. I put this on my YouTube channel and everywhere else available. Back to the home page. And this is the end of the presentation. Thank you for watching. I hope you developed an insight into how I managed to go about the documentation before progressing the production of Refinement, using a website for effective journals, research and evaluation. And I'm going to stop the audio just now.